Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for making it on. And as I said a short while ago, for anyone that's joined since I was just chatting, Claire is actually working today. So she will be on the call next week for anyone that's one of Claire's coaches. But of course, we're like all coming together to do these calls together. So I thought today something that would hopefully be really, really useful for you guys is just to talk about building connections. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to mute everyone. Just 1 second. Guy, I have 20 people on this phone call. Can you take them downstairs, please? Guy, I really need your help. Thank you. Sorry about that. I've got him with the branch banging at the door. So Guy's going to take him downstairs. So, I know we've got kind of like anything from like brand new coaches to more seasoned coaches and anything in between. But I just thought today it would be really useful to just cover kind of just how I go about building conversations, the kinds of things that I do that mean that I have a constant pipeline of people that I'm talking to, that I'm inviting, and that I'm having ongoing follow-up conversations with. And I think to me, like now it's really apparent like what I should be doing day by day. I'm sure for like a lot of you it is, but hopefully there might be some stuff that maybe you're not doing that's really just going to help you with those connections, from kind of practicalities of conversations to just pure process. So the first thing that I just wanted to cover was that obviously the business activity tracker, if you're not using it, I know we talk about this until we're kind of blue in the face, please start using it. I know I kind of thought, well, no, I've got my own Excel spreadsheet, I'm just going to use that. But actually, now that I complete this every day, there were certainly things that I was missing regularly. And I have really seen the impact of those tasks on that tracker really positively affect my business. So if you're using the business activity tracker and you're using some of these practical tips I'm going to give you, there really shouldn't be any reason why you aren't kind of seeing that success from kind of, you know, conversations basis that I'm going to cover off. So first things first, on the business activity tracker, it talks about building connections. So I know sometimes people, even with that part of the business activity tracker, it's kind of not immediately clear how that looks. And I know we've done a team call on it, but I'm going to do a brief overview just kind of as a recap. Initiating connections, I just go into somebody's Instagram account that perhaps is a similar person to me, might be a top PT in the UK or an influencer who is into fitness. And I'll go into their comments on their pictures and see who's recently commented. And I'll go into that person's profile and I might kind of like 3 to 5 photos and write a comment or two with a photograph that actually resonates with me, that actually seems genuine. Like we want genuine connections, not just like a heart emoji on someone's post, because that's just really like, it doesn't look authentic at all. And then the other thing that I would say is that, with that being said, like sometimes I follow people, but for the most part, I don't follow people. So this is the whole thing with like Captivate and Cleaner. And, you know, we were using that for a while. And I know now people are saying, well, how do I unfollow people? Like you always want to have kind of more people following you than you're following, because it gives you more credibility. But those apps, I think most of us are aware, but if you're not aware, that is a massive red flag for Instagram and will really, really affect your engagement. So if you're using them, I would strongly advise not using them at all. So with that being said, if you're initiating connections and you're actually following people, make sure that you're going through your people you're following every week to make sure that's not becoming a huge disparity, because that will, you know, it will really discredit your account and it will affect your credibility and trustworthiness in terms of like building connections, which is obviously everything. So obviously from those initial kind of building connections, you're going to then have people that follow you back, right? They're going to like your stuff. With every single one of these things, you should be responding to these kinds of interactions every single day. So anybody that likes your post that's new, anybody that is watching your stories that is new, and anybody that has followed you that is new should be getting a message, okay? There shouldn't be any like stone unturned. And I certainly ensure that I'm reaching out to those people every single day. And I know like a lot of you guys have full-time jobs and everything else, but as long as you're obviously like separating out your time in an efficient way, this should be totally realistic. This is what we're here to do, build connections. So when people say to me, oh, the engagement on IG has dropped and I'm like, I'm really struggling for like building new connections and I don't know how to do it. If you're initiating connections with that 20-minute task on the business activity tracker where you're going out and you're engaging on people's pages, regardless of whether the algorithm is down or, you know, the engagement is low, it doesn't matter. You should still be having new engagements on your page, which means that you have new people to talk to every single day. And that might just be 5 people, but that is 5 new people. And that is all it takes to build an amazing business. So with those people, just as an example, I think sometimes like we get stuck in the fear we're like, oh, they followed me or they've liked my post, but actually I don't really know what to say to them now. Or we can kind of get ourselves in this little bubble where we're like, oh, okay, well, I've looked at a person's page and I can't really find anything in common with them, so I'm just not going to say anything. Like every single person should be getting a message. And certainly if you can't resonate with anything on their page, or, you know, you can't find an initial connection, like, I don't know, like they're a mum or they have a dog, or that's certainly for me, or, you know, their like corporate life, I will always engage with them by saying, hey, X, how are you? I'll always ask them how they are. Like, it's always nice to ask someone how they are. Like it's opening the conversation. The more questions, the better. Thank you so much for either following me, keeping up with my stories, or liking my recent post. I so appreciate the support. Like, I think like that genuine, like not just saying thanks for liking, but actually just genuinely confirming that you really appreciate them. You know, they are supporting you by watching your stories. So say that. And then something that I use a lot and gets a lot of response is either like, if it's obvious they're on a fitness journey, don't ask them if they're on a fitness journey, because that's just really like, have you even looked at my profile? Either, are you on a fitness journey, or how long have you been on your fitness journey? And if there's anything that you resonate with specifically, I will also add that in, like, oh, your baby's so cute, my son is, you know, whatever it might be. And those are the people, guys, that I am then inviting usually the following day or a couple of days later. So I'm then starting to engage on their stuff. I'm starting to build a rapport, and they go into my tracking system. And this is where I think we can be like, not, well, I suppose it is lazy, and I'm certainly guilty of doing it. Like, we've all done it, right? We've gone to the like extent of sending a message and then we haven't actually tracked it. So what's the point of actually starting a conversation? We're not going to track it, because if we're not going to track it, we're not going to invite them. So it's kind of a pointless connection. So make sure, and certainly I know Claire, Jojo, myself, a lot of the girls here use Streak. So that is kind of the first column in my Streak, is need to invite. Okay. And in that column goes all of those people that I have started an initial conversation with. And it may well be that they don't reply, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to get an invitation, because I'm just looking at this. Yeah, don't know where I'd be without Streak. No, neither do I. So, you know, these conversations are going to get left unless we take control. We cannot expect that we're going to send out invites or we're going to send out a message, and then if that person doesn't respond, oh, hey ho, Izzy or Claire, I'm really stuck because no one's responding to me. Those people are people that we still need to be inviting. And certainly if they've seen, like in your Instagram, it will show when they've seen your message, you definitely want to be following up. And the reason why you want to be checking out your stories every single day is that you want to see who from those people you've invited is actually watching you. Because if those people are watching you, they're seriously interested, okay? And it might be for you guys, you know, I know like some of us are like more into inviting to the bootcamp. We're more confident with that. We have more traction with that. That's our strategy. Some of us have a strategy with the coach invite, and that works really well. Whichever works for you, whichever you're inviting to is then obviously the invite that you're going to use. Morning Meltdown is clearly like the most unbelievable program. And if you're enjoying that just as much as I am, then constructing an invite should be completely the easiest thing in the world. Like I don't often voice clip invite, if I'm being honest. I feel like that's a bit too much for someone that's new. I'll follow up with a voice clip sometimes once they've responded. But just having a little test, like how can you explain morning meltdown in a little invite? I've certainly got one that I can share with you guys, but that tends to work really well. I'm just looking at Jojo's comment here. If you're new, seriously start your streak. Yes, Jojo is absolutely right. Like, I always say this, and this sounds like tough love, but I think it's really useful for those of you that are new. If you don't have a proper tracking system, you don't have a business. So if you're using pen and paper, I know there are some coaches that do. I can't get my head around that. I can't get my head around how on earth they are running a business that they take super seriously. Because if you went into an office and you had an office job and you got asked to call a list of prospects, would they just be a pen and paper list? And would that list accidentally be lost at some stage? No. So if you don't have Streak, you don't have a business. Or if you don't have a tracking system that is on your computer that you can kind of move through a funnel, then honestly, I don't believe you have a proper business that you're taking seriously. So I hope those kind of initial conversation starters are useful. I know like for newer coaches, that can be like a real like, but I don't know what to say. And then obviously like and this is where the consistency comes in, like every single day you want to be checking who liked your post from yesterday. Okay, who is new? They're obviously like hot, they're new, they're liking your stuff. That's definitely a need to invite. But who has liked your stuff, who's been liking your stuff for a while, and maybe you've sent them an invite a while ago, but you haven't actually checked in to see the last time you sent them a message. That should construct your follow-ups as well. Your follow-ups in Streak are great, and your follow-ups are great for your like promoted post and stuff, but make sure you're checking out, for goodness sake, all those people who are liking your stuff. And I honestly go through who's liked my stuff every day on the previous day, and I work out, okay, where am I with that person's conversation? Oh, she's liked my stuff again, and I've sent her actually 5 messages and she's not replied, but she's liked my stuff, so she's clearly like interested in what I'm doing. Yeah. So make sure you're doing that. I think certainly I made this mistake, and that's why I'm sharing it. Like my follow-ups would often just be like follow-ups from my Streak system, and I wouldn't take into consideration that actually there's a vast number of follow-ups that we can be doing with people who are continuing to watch our stories, continuing to like our stuff. And if you are doing all of that stuff every day, I can tell you, you will have enough to fill that time for sure. You know, the people who are engaging in our stories, and again, like I know I'm guilty of this, I don't check through who's watching my stories every single day, although I should, just because of the size of my business now. But those people are crucial, because they're actually, you know, if you click through your stories and you go to the last one that you've done, those are often the most motivated and interested people, because they've watched through to your last story. So just keep tabs on that. And just don't like, I think often we can just get stuck in this fear of, oh, well, I don't know what to say, so I'm not going to say anything. Or I don't know how to follow up because they've not replied. Something that I do, and I know Claire does this, and I know actually she's called Rachel, Fit Teacher Rachel. I can't remember her surname. Rachel, anyone help me out here? Oh, you're on mute, I think. Rachel, what's her name? Jojo, I'm trying to unmute you. Oh, it won't unmute you.
Rachel or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. She has like a process where she literally has like set messages for set follow-ups, but she follows up with people 7 or 8 times, okay, without a reply. And that's what I do, and like that's what we should all be doing. So when you say like, oh, no one's replied to me, it still doesn't mean they're dead in the water. It still could mean they're going to be one of your top coaches. Like I got a girl set up today that I've been speaking to since the beginning of May. And I look back at the messages, and I'd had nada from her for like 6 messages. I'm not saying like I'm sending her a message every other day to no response, because that would just be like, she'd think I was crazy. But I'm certainly checking in on those people like every week or 2 weeks. So if you've said like, hey, are you on a fitness journey, or how long have you been on your fitness journey, and you get no response, then I send an invite, okay? And then maybe a week later, I might just send a message and say, hey, I just wanted to check in. Was this of interest? Just something really simple. And then you can go back to re-inviting in a different way. So just have a play around with it. And guys, if you're consistently sending out messages and you're not having any traction and it's not converting for you, even though you're following up, you need to look at what you're sending these people and change it up. Because the biggest thing that will damage and like hold us stale in our business is when we're not willing to confront the fact that something isn't working for us and we're continuing to try it because we just got so comfortable doing the same thing that actually we're self-sabotaging ourselves because that's not working and we haven't actually said to ourselves, is that working? So have like a little think tonight when you come off this call today and just think, do I think the messages that I'm sending are working? And if actually I really don't think they are, or it doesn't feel like it's me, or I don't feel like I'm connecting with it, change it up. Because if you don't connect with it, that's the other thing. If you've just like the thing, you know, the invites that I send, you know, potential coaches and boot campers, I've kind of for the most part constructed and I connect with it. But it might be that you've kind of maybe used that or something Claire's given you and you don't feel like you connect with it, change it. Because again, if you don't connect with it, that person receiving that invite or that message is not, they're just going to feel like something's off. If it feels like it's off for you, it's going to be off for them. So have a think. And guys, if you get stuck and you think, oh, I don't know how to change this, or I don't know what would be better than this, if you feel it's not working, just reach out to your coach. Like, I'm always more than happy to share what I'm doing. I'm not going to go into every single message that I'm sending because I think, you know, it would just be boring and also a lot to write down. But there's also the invite scripts in the team page. So even in the new team page under the files section, have a look there if you're a newer coach. I would also say with the follow-ups, start using voice clip. If you're not using voice clip, particularly when you've got someone who's interested, if they're interested, they want to know more. They want to hear your enthusiasm for it. And there's no better way than them hearing your voice. If you're genuinely passionate about what you do and you're enthusiastic, then they are literally going to be like, whatever that is, I want to do it. And I know like recently I've started doing way more follow-ups on voice clip, no matter where they are in my streak funnel, which for guys with streak will understand, like whether it's like they've gone into the sneak peek or they're yet to go in the sneak peek, or it's like 3 follow-ups from the sneak peek. I'm noticing that my traction is so much better because when I'm on my A game and I'm feeling great about what we're doing, like now, which is because of Morning Meltdown, like there has never been a better time to share your enthusiasm. Like, who isn't going to ride on this train, right? So make sure you're sharing it, because if you're not sharing it and you're just, you know, typing out a message and they're not going to feel that enthusiasm, they're going to be like, why would I want to do this? This girl's like, I shouldn't. So like unashamedly share your passion. If you're passionate about what you're doing, share it. Because if you don't share it, no one's ever going to know. They'll be like, okay, cool, this girl's doing some fitness program. She seems to be having fun, but it doesn't sound like it. So I'm not going to go with her. I'll go with the other girl who sounds like she's loving it. And yes, like Francesca said here, so much more personable. And also with a voice clip, there's no way they can be like, this is like an automated reply or this is a robot. Like, you know, I know when we like copy and paste messages, which I know like some of us do, we have an invite that we use. Certainly I do that for the invite. I don't voice clip for the invite. I haven't really trialed that. I think maybe that would be a bit much, but they know that it's you. And certainly I get that feedback from guys that I voice clip and they're like, oh, it's so nice to hear your voice. Like, thank you. You know, they're grateful for the fact that I've taken the time to do that. And I know you guys who like work full-time jobs and stuff will probably be thinking, how will that work with my time? But honestly, I cannot tell you how quick that is. Like, quick little voice clip is quicker than even like copying and pasting sometimes, because a voice clip could take like 20 seconds. So particularly as you're building rapport, if it's someone that you've been engaging with for quite a long time, they're going to love a voice clip. Like, they're coming to you because they like you. So they want to hear your voice. And I think other than that, then, you know, just make sure that you're doing that part of the business activity tracker, because guys, when the engagement is low on Instagram and we're not necessarily getting new eyes on our page all the time, they're not coming to us through a post, which I know does and doesn't happen and it's very hit or miss. It's going to be crucial, absolutely crucial, that you're initiating those connections every day for 20 minutes. And I promise you, you're going to like take heed of those, that investment of your time. And the reason why I say that is that I honestly never really did that, because I just was like, I'm just going to use Captivate and Cleaner and I don't have time for that. But actually the quality of the engagement that you get back on your page is way better because you've taken the time to go and engage on their stuff and you're building a rapport just by doing that. So if that's one thing you're not doing, address that today. Make that take priority over say like you're spending a certain amount of time doing follow-ups, I'd pinch a bit of time and make sure you're building, because that's building your funnel, guys. That's really building your funnel. And I think other than that, like, I don't want to make it a super long call. I could talk around this subject for the next half an hour, but I think you probably all get bored to sleep. Has anyone got anything they want to add? I'm going to unmute you guys all. Or anything you want to ask. And honestly, like, just go for it if you've got any questions. So let me just unmute you all.
You could tell what I'm thinking. You just have to be clean, have to be fast.
Oh, hold on, maybe I won't unmute everyone. Maybe if you just want to talk, then... Okay, if anyone wants to talk, just unmute yourself or just put your hand up, or like asking questions, please just fire away. I'm just looking on here. And if there's like anything you want to know about conversations, then shout.
I started doing one thing this week for the people that my promoted post. So what I did is I'm constantly going back to the post I've promoted, to the post I've promoted, and going into the accounts that liked my post, that maybe liked it and didn't apply, because they were like at work or something or busy or whatever. But I just gone back and engaged on their Instagram, leaving comments, liking photos and following, and I've gotten like quite a few follow backs.
That's amazing. So that's
the thing that I've been doing, because I feel like for the other photos, like I do that for, like regular things that I post on my day-to-day on my feed. I do that all the time, but like when I promote the post, like I'm so just like focused on replying to the apps that I don't look at the people that liked the photo. And I focus just on the comments, because that's where I'm gonna get those people to, like, go to the page, go to the link and do the. So now I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to all of the posts I've promoted and going into those accounts to engage with those accounts.
That's such a great idea. And I think that's something, actually, Sarah, I think she's on mute. I think she's got a little boy, but she said something to me the other day, and she said she went back to everyone in her like previous historic posts. She went through all the emojis, which obviously like we probably go through, but don't underestimate, guys, the power of, and I know Claire last month, she had a lot of new coaches come on board who had, I think they'd engaged or applied to a promoted post in January. Yeah. So they're the guys that are going to be watching you for ages. And I think sometimes we're like focusing on the recent follow-ups. But Jojo, I love the fact that you go and you engage, like you do like 3 likes, comments on the people who've liked your promoted post. Like I would never do, like I would like their stuff and I would send them a message. But I think to kind of just subtly do that to get them kind of back in your page is such a great idea. I love that idea. Does anyone want to ask anything or add anything? Just try and look in the chat here. Please fire away if you do have any comments that are useful or anything that you want to know about that you want to try.
I have like a quick question, but it's kind of repeated, I guess. So I know you were saying like you follow up with the same person about like what 7 to 8 times, even if they're not answering your, like I have so many people that still watch my stuff, still comment on my pictures, or they like my pictures, and then I'll still like send them a message or however, but they're still not really engaging with it, or they're like, oh, not right now, maybe like down the road, or whatever they say. So how do you, like, at what point do you stop following up with those people, or not putting that much, like, I guess, energy into it? I mean, there's so many times, like, we have to make so many different connections. So it's like, I don't want to focus on like the same people, obviously, but I don't know. It's kind of like a weird question, but
they will be some of your best coaches. And they'll be some of your most loyal people because they have watched you for ages, and they also are going to have such a clear understanding of what you're doing that when they come into the business, they're already going to know what they're doing.
Okay.
This is the thing about your stories, and this is why, like, I'm always, and this was a point, I can't remember which top coach made the point, and this is me going off on a tangent, but since you said it, I'm going to share it. Never underestimate the fact that you have your future amazing rockstar coaches watching you. Okay. So if you can start teaching them by them seeing what you're doing in your stories around your business every day, then when they come into your business, they're just going to do it. Like, they're going to see you doing your professional development, and you're sharing a podcast or a personal development book, or you're talking about the application process, or you're really visible on video, or you're doing live videos. Then when they become your coach in time, they're just going to know they'll be like, right, okay, cool, I did a live video today, because they will have seen you do it, and they will have been thinking around that for such a long time. And I would just say with that, like, don't ever can anybody who is still, albeit you might send 3 follow-ups, you might have 1 engagement, and then you send another 3, and then you have 1 more engagement back from them. They're still interested. And certainly if they're still watching your stories, they're still interested. Even if you're sending several messages and you're getting no reply, like, they won't necessarily be in my streak, because honestly, if I've sent like 8 messages and they're not going in my streak. But I will do, like, probably honestly, like, I'm doing like 2 or 3 times a week, I'm doing a story audit. Okay. And what you want to do with a story audit, and that's just what I've called it, is see who's watching your stories. Like, is it still someone who you've like invited like 8 or 9 times? You're not going to send them a message every week if you've like sent them a message 9 times. But if they're still watching you like 4 weeks down the track from your last message, reach out to them, because they're still watching you. They're still interested in what you're doing. And we make it about us instead of about them. Like, remember, like, I'm sure it wasn't me. Like, I was like, sign me up tomorrow when I learned about the opportunity. But most of us, like, we had to watch for ages. Like, I know Kelly, for example, she watched me for ages. Like, we had conversations. She was like tricky. But Kelly's a really great coach, you know? So don't, and she wasn't through a promotion, so she watched what I was doing. So she kind of knew what I was doing. So just remember, like, there are your next rockstar coaches watching you. And if we make it about us and be like, oh, that's really icky because I've had to send them, like, I feel really salesy, like, that's our problem. It's our problem. And what you realize when you then have somebody that enrolls after like 9 messages and no response is that, how dare I make it about me? I should have sent them a message ages ago. You know, like, some people are going to be getting annoyed, right? They're going to unfollow you. They're not going to respond, and that'll be that. So I would just say to that, like, that is a really, like, it's almost like the biggest danger of all, is that you're like, I followed up that person so many times, they're still watching me, I'm just not going to say anything. And actually, they're the people that could be, they might not sign up for 6 months, they might not sign up for 12 months, but they may well get started, and they're watching you and they're interested in what you're doing, and in which case they're probably your tribe. Well, they are your tribe, which is, you know, which is what you want.
That makes sense.
It was a really good question, and like one that when I was quite new, I didn't really like. I lost so many people in the start, as I think most of us do, because we don't know this stuff, right? And you only learn this stuff as you come down the track, and you realize after following up with someone 9 times that actually, oh wow, now they're doing really great as a coach. There are so many coaches to be that I've lost from when I started. Because remember, like, every day that you show up, and this is where consistency is so important, every day you show up, you're building more trust with that person. So don't break their trust. Don't break their trust by not showing up. Like, you're showing up for them. You're showing up for your future coaches. And when you have coaches, you're showing up for them. Like, when you have coaches, if you don't show up, they're not going to show up. They'll show 50% of what you show up. So, I mean, this is a complete aside, but if you've got coaches who aren't doing stuff as a general, anyone on here, question yourself, are you being that consistent person they can trust and know what they need to do by watching what you're doing in your stories and your posts? So yeah, that was such a good question. Are there any other questions or comments?
I wanted to say something that just happened to me.
Oh, what just happened?
This girl that I've never invited just sent me a message. Because I've been posting all of the morning meltdown stuff. And I've been, like, yesterday, none of my posts were posting. It took me like an hour. And she was watching them, and she just asked me, where do I get my workouts from? And even though I did say I was using Beachbody on here, like on the message, she's like, I love watching you. You're so damn cute. What is the price and how does it work? And I've never invited her.
That's so
And she's just been watching me, and I literally like, I don't even know why I've never invited her. Like, I sent her a message back in September of last year as a like, thanks for connecting here with me kind of thing, and I never invited her.
But still, you sent and this is so like what Jojo's my longest standing coach, right? So this is what I'm seeing now, and Jojo's starting to see. You have people that you've sent an initial message to, and yeah, maybe you didn't follow up with them, and that's a big mistake, guys. Don't do that. But you notice that people come back to your page and they're watching your stories, and you've forgotten about them, and you've messaged them like a year ago. And that is someone that's come back to your page because they're like, oh, hey, I just want to check in and see where this girl's at, because I knew she was at this like a while back, and hey, she's still there. That's huge. So I love that she said that. And she's obviously like, this is the thing, like, get in front of the camera, like make sure you kind of, I know it's easy for me to say, but we all have fear when we start of getting in front of the camera, but people build rapport with you. Like, even if you're not like physically talking to that one person, they're building a rapport with you because they're like, I know all about you and your life. And that's why it should not just be about fitness, about all of the other stuff you're going through, because that's where you connect. And I know Jojo's really good at doing that stuff too. So, cool. Anyone else want to add anything or ask anything?
Can I say something else?
Yeah, of course you can. Go for it.
One thing that's been working very good for me are the polls. I do polls like, I don't think I did one yesterday, but I've done one almost every day since we started Morning Meltdown, or a little bit before Morning Meltdown. And I just ask random things every now and then to like connect with people. And I know Mackenzie does this too. Like, she'll make a poll. I think she made a poll about like something for camping, and like a ton of people replied, and then she replied to those people to make connections with them. So I've been doing fun stuff like that, but I've also been doing it for Morning Meltdown, like just constantly offering more information on, like, I would do a post and then like a story, and then do like a poll if you wanted to know more information, if you wanted a free sample workout, if you want to join like one of our live virtual workouts. Like, I've been sending emails to people that have been sending me their emails based on those polls.
And that's like what Jojo said is huge for your story, is like the engagement on the actual boot camp. But then, and I know Sarah's really good at, Sarah Campus is great, and she puts like random polls. I love Sarah's stories because she always has like really random polls in there, and I love it. I love the creativity. But I put, and I know like Jojo watches my stories, but for Morning Meltdown, I went like ham, which is like just crazy. I did a call to action post on my polls in my stories for Morning Meltdown basically every day to the launch, every day. And I hit Success Club 30 last month, and probably 50% of my guys were because of Morning Meltdown, because I was just over the top. Like, I didn't care if people unfollowed me. If they wanted to unfollow me, fine. Like, they're not going to be my girls if they don't want to do Morning Meltdown, quite honestly. But yeah, like Jojo's made a really good point. If you are scared to invite in a post or in a story every day, then get over it. Like, honestly, because that is going to leverage your business. And yeah, you might have one person vote. You might not have anyone vote on one day. You can always like call out to your coaches and ask them to vote just so that it looks a bit better. But just know that it's this whole marketing strategy, which I know some of you might know about, but people have to see something 7 to 9 times before they take action. Okay. Remember that, because if you put a poll up once, and then you put it up once 1 week later, that's 2 times they've seen the same marketing strategy, okay? If you put that call to action up every day and you're initiating connections with people, you're getting new eyes on your page, but also you've got the people that have been watching you for ages and they're like, I'm thinking about it. And then they see it again and they're like, I'm thinking about it. Then they see it 3rd time, I'm thinking about it. 4th, 5th, it's just numbers, okay? So the 9th time they see it, they might jump in. And that's what I saw with Morning Meltdown. I was posting that call to action, like all those transformation pictures, which I'm happy to share. If anyone wants them after the call, please let me know. Every day. And I thought, all my coaches are going to think I'm just so boring. But there were people that got enrolled because they get that FOMO. The more you post it, the more they're like, oh no, and now I'm going to miss out. And then you put like the countdown. And guys, actually on a tangent with Morning Meltdown, make sure you're still inviting to it, because we are going to pump people into that boot camp, okay? And the days for the check-ins, okay, for the new people are not going to compute with where they're starting. However, it doesn't really matter. They can check in on their nutrition. They can check in on their workout. They can check in on why they committed to today. And honestly, I don't think they're really going to care if the visual doesn't match where they are, because the energy in that bootcamp is so amazing. You want to be sharing that unashamedly, like video record the bootcamp. There's so much energy in there. I've never seen a bootcamp like it. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Morning Meltdown's got my heart. I think you can all tell that. I can't see these 5 new messages. Yeah, Jojo, it's the sample workouts as well. As Jojo said, like, make sure you're sending those out to anyone that's interested, because that's a hook. Okay, so they might not want to get started initially, but they might want to get started if you're giving them something free. Yeah. So if you don't have that workout and you want it after the call, send me a message and I'll send it to you. Oh, hold on a second. I think has anyone got any other questions? Hold on a second, I'm still here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, darling. Sorry. My son, I think, I'm a bit worried. I think he's been at my board that does my countdown on my days. So when I get downstairs, there's probably not going to be any day workouts left. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to keep you on for the sake of keeping you on, guys. So unless you've got any other questions or comments or anything that you're unclear on, the new team page, if you're not in it, my guys, please let me know. I shared it in our team page, the Hustle and Heart one, and it's got the link to the new Team Hustle and Heart, which is the new page where we're all interacting and engaging, and Claire and I are leading that new page just as a kind of fresh thing. If you haven't seen it or you can't find it, please let me know and I'll send the link. So yeah, let's go for it. August is, I'm just so excited for everyone. I think Morning Meltdown is such a game changer.
I love it.
I'm obsessed. I don't think I'll ever do anything else.
I did Fit Club yesterday and I felt so silly.
Whenever I think of that, I think of that video at Summit where like all of the
oh my god, yeah.
Right, and you're going left.
We're all going in different directions, but my husband was there and he was just like over with his workout, and then he was watching me do it and he's like, you're really into this, huh? And I'm like, you have no idea, I just got the coordination right for this like 2 moves ago. Like, it's insane. I don't get the coordination for me is so awful.
My coordination's never going to change that, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
Jojo was like, she watches me. If you watch me doing my like the mixed martial arts workout, it's never going to change. But Guy's doing it. Guy's on day 7. It hasn't worked out.
I like watching yours because you're so focused on the move that you're like your concentrating face is like hilarious. I just like I do the hyperlapse, so I speed it up so I don't look as dumb. But I feel like I look dumb.
Thanks for that. Right.
Not me. Like I look. If I do it slowly, if I do like with the regular time, I feel like I look dumb. But if I just do the hyperlapse where it's really really fast, I don't look as dumb. I wasn't saying you. I meant me.
Well, no, I
go back and look at myself, and I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah, the time lapse.
But it is fun.
Right, guys. I am gonna let you guys get on, and thank you so much for being on. Same time next week. Honestly, any queries about anything and anything you want help with, please just ask, because otherwise you're gonna come off this call and be like, oh, I would like to do that, but I don't know how. So just ask if there's anything you need, like the link or anything. And thanks. Oh no, let's do a boomerang. Okay. 3. Can anyone not on screen? Can you come onto screen? If you can't, don't worry, but if you can, it'd be useful. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Nice to see you guys.
Bye, ladies.
See you soon. I'll post a recording on the team page probably tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.